Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a calm and comfortable moment today. Take a slow breath and allow your mind to feel a little lighter. Have you ever wanted to improve your English but did not have anyone to practice with? Practice is important, but you are always alone? You want to speak. You want to use English, but there is no one around. No conversation partner. No one to respond to you. And slowly, you begin to feel something. Maybe this is not enough. Maybe I cannot improve alone. And this thought can feel discouraging because it feels like something is missing. Many learners experience this situation. They study alone. They listen to English. They read. They watch videos, but they do not speak much. And because of this, they begin to doubt their progress. They think practice must include other people. They believe improvement requires conversation. But here is something very important to understand. You can improve your English alone. And not only that, you can build a very strong foundation. Because learning alone has a special advantage. It gives you time. It gives you control. It gives you space to repeat, and repetition is one of the most powerful tools in language learning. Another important idea is pressure. When you practice with others, you may feel pressure. You may feel nervous. You may feel judged. But when you are alone, that pressure disappears. You can take your time. You can repeat as much as you want. You can make mistakes freely. And this creates a safe environment, a space where your brain can learn naturally. Let me share a simple example. There are two learners. The first person only practices with others. They wait for conversation opportunities. They speak sometimes, but not every day. Because opportunities are limited, the second person practices alone every day. They listen. They repeat sentences. They speak to themselves. They describe their thoughts. They do this consistently. After some time, their results become different. The first person has experience, but not enough repetition. The second person has less real conversation, but much more practice, and their speaking becomes smoother. Their confidence becomes stronger because they practice more often. This is the power of consistent solo practice. Another key point is control. When you learn alone, you choose your level, you choose your speed, you choose your content. This allows you to match your learning to your ability. And when your learning matches your level, your brain learns more efficiently. Another important idea is active practice. Many learners study passively. They listen, they watch, they understand, but they do not use the language. And this creates a gap between understanding and speaking. But when you practice alone actively, you close that gap. You turn input into output. You turn understanding into expression. Another key point is habit. When you practice alone, you can do it every day. You do not need to wait. You do not need to plan with others. You simply begin, and this creates consistency. And consistency creates improvement. Another important idea is creativity. When you are alone, you can create your own practice. You can describe your day. You can imagine conversations. You can repeat what you hear. You can build your own learning system. At this point, you may begin to see something clearly. Practicing alone is not a limitation. It is an opportunity to build strong habits, an opportunity to repeat without pressure, an opportunity to learn at your own pace. But there is still something important we need to understand. How can we practice alone effectively? How can we make solo practice powerful and not just repetitive? And this is where the story begins to go deeper. From practicing alone to practicing effectively. Now that we understand that practicing alone can be powerful, we can begin to explore how to do it effectively in a structured way. The goal is not to practice randomly. The goal is to practice with purpose and consistency. The first step is to turn passive input into active output. Many learners only listen. They understand, but they do not respond. This creates a gap. So after listening, say something. Repeat a sentence. Change a sentence. Respond in your own words. This simple action transforms your learning. The second step is to use shadowing. Shadowing means repeating what you hear immediately. Not perfectly, but naturally. You follow the sound. You follow the rhythm. You follow the speed. This builds fluency, and it trains your mouth to move naturally. The third step is to speak to yourself regularly. This may feel strange at first, but it is very effective. You can describe your actions. You can explain your thoughts. You can talk about your plans. These small moments create real speaking practice. The fourth step is to use repetition with variation. Do not repeat the same sentence exactly every time. Change small parts. I like coffee. I like tea. I like this place. This helps your brain understand patterns. And patterns are the key to language use. Let me give you a simple example. One learner listens to many different materials. They change content every day. They feel busy, but they do not repeat much. Another learner chooses one short audio. They listen many times. They repeat. They speak. They change sentences. After some time, the difference becomes clear. The first learner knows many things, but cannot use them easily. The second learner uses fewer materials, but uses them deeply. And their speaking becomes smoother, because depth creates ability. The fifth step is to record your voice. This helps you hear yourself. You notice your pronunciation. You notice your rhythm. And this awareness helps improvement. The sixth step is to create daily speaking triggers. Connect English to your daily life. When you wake up, say something. When you eat, describe it. When you walk, observe your surroundings. These small triggers build habit. The seventh step is to focus on clarity, not speed. Many learners try to speak quickly, but speed is not important at the beginning. Clarity is more important. Speak slowly. Speak clearly. This builds strong foundations. The eighth step is to combine listening and speaking. Do not separate them. Listen first, then speak. Use what you hear. This creates connection, and connection builds fluency. Another important idea is feedback from yourself. You may not have a teacher, but you can still observe yourself. You can notice your patterns. You can correct simple mistakes. This self-awareness is powerful. Another key point is persistence. Practicing alone requires discipline. No one reminds you. No one pushes you. So you must continue by yourself, even on days when you feel low. Another important idea is simplicity. Do not make your practice too complicated. Keep it clear. Keep it repeatable. This makes it easier to continue. At this point, you may begin to notice something different. You speak more often. You hesitate less. You feel more comfortable. And your practice becomes natural. But there is still one important part left. How do we maintain this habit long term? How do we continue practicing alone without losing motivation? And this is where the story moves forward. From effective practice to sustainable progress. So now we come to the final part of this story. How can you continue practicing English alone in a way that leads to real and lasting improvement? Because starting is easy, but continuing is the real challenge. Many learners try practicing alone for a few days. They feel motivated. They follow a routine. But after some time, they stop. Not because they cannot continue, but because they lose structure. So the real goal is not only to practice alone. The real goal is to make it sustainable. The first step is to create a simple system. Do not rely on motivation. Do not wait for the right feeling. Create a small plan, something you can follow every day. Listen, repeat, speak. Keep it simple. The second step is to keep your practice predictable. When your routine is predictable, your brain feels comfortable. And when your brain feels comfortable, you continue more easily. Do similar actions every day. Build a rhythm. This rhythm supports consistency. The third step is to measure your effort, not your result. Do not ask, "Am I fluent?" Ask, "Did I practice today?" This small change reduces pressure. And when pressure is low, you continue more easily. The fourth step is to reconnect with your reason. Why are you learning English? What does it give you? When you forget your reason, your motivation becomes weak. But when you remember it, your energy returns. Let me share a simple example. One learner practices every day for 10 minutes. They do not skip. They follow a simple routine. After some months, they notice something. Speaking feels easier. Understanding feels faster. Their confidence grows. Another learner practices for a long time sometimes, then stops for many days. They feel inconsistent. They feel slow. Their progress feels unclear. And over time, the difference becomes clear. Consistency creates results. The fifth step is to accept imperfect practice. Not every session will feel perfect. Some days feel good. Some days feel difficult. This is normal. What matters is continuation. The sixth step is to build emotional stability. Practicing alone means you manage your own emotions. There is no one to encourage you. So you must create your own support. Be kind to yourself. Encourage yourself. This creates a positive learning environment. The seventh step is to allow flexibility. Do not make your system too rigid. If you feel tired, do something lighter. If you feel energetic, do a little more. This flexibility helps you continue long term. The eighth step is to trust the process. Progress is not always visible, but it is happening. Each repetition strengthens your ability. Each small effort builds something. Over time, these small actions create big change. Another important idea is patience. Learning alone requires time. It requires consistency. It requires belief. But if you stay with it, results will come. Another key point is identity. See yourself as someone who practices every day, not someone who tries sometimes. This identity shapes your behavior, and your behavior shapes your progress. Another important idea is returning. There will be days when you stop. This is normal. Do not judge yourself. Just return. Each return makes your habit stronger. Over time, something begins to change. You no longer feel alone in your learning. You feel connected to the language. You feel comfortable practicing. And you see real improvement. And in that moment, you realize something important. You did not need perfect conditions. You did not need other people. You only needed consistency. And this is the result of everything you have done. Not one big effort, but many small and steady steps. So if you remember one thing from this story, remember this. You can improve your English alone. Practice a little every day. Stay consistent and trust your progress. Thank you for spending this time with the story. And as always, see you in the next story.